I'm going to do something most people would never think of, sharpening a disposable razor to see just how sharp it can still be. In this video, I'll test a method for resharpening disposable razors that are usually considered single-use, turning them from waste into sharp tools that can be used again. No complex machinery is required. With just a few simple items, you'll see how the lifespan of a razor can be extended surprisingly well, saving money while also reducing unnecessary waste. These razors are not all the same. Some are completely worn down after many uses, while others are rusted from moisture and long-term storage. And at first glance, they seem fit only for the trash. But it's exactly these different conditions that I want to test, to see which ones can be saved by resharpening, and which ones are truly beyond recovery. Because these are disposable razors, very few people ever think about reusing them. So don't rush to throw them away. Because with a little proper treatment and resharpening, these disposable razors can still be put to use one more time. First, the razors need to be cleaned, and I'll start by boiling water to remove dirt, light rust, and any remaining residue stuck to the blades. After the water has boiled, I don't put the razors in right away. Instead, I let the water cool down to about 60 degrees Celsius. This temperature is hot enough to soften dirt, dried soap, and light rust, but still safe for the plastic parts of the razor. At this point, I submerge the entire razor head in the water, making sure the blades are fully immersed, and leave it for a few minutes so the contaminants can loosen naturally before moving on to the next step. Next, I apply a small amount of toothpaste directly onto the blades, since toothpaste contains very fine abrasive particles that help with deeper cleaning. I simply use a cotton swab to spread the toothpaste evenly over the entire blade area, making sure it covers the cutting edges and small gaps, then let it sit for a while so the toothpaste can do its job. After applying it, I soak the razors in clean water to thoroughly rinse away the toothpaste, removing the loosened residue and restoring a clean blade surface before moving on to the next steps. Next, I use a small brush to gently scrub the blades, focusing on the cutting edges and the narrow gaps between them. I apply just enough pressure without pressing hard to lift any remaining grime without chipping or bending the blades, leaving them cleaner with more defined edges. Only a soft bristled brush should be used for cleaning. Using anything harder could scratch or damage the blades, whereas a soft brush gently removes debris without affecting the metal or the sharpness of the edge. To clean more thoroughly any rust that remains, I'll use baking soda as a mild abrasive. I sprinkle a small amount of baking soda directly onto blades or mix it with a little water to form a paste. The baking soda works on stubborn rust spots, helping the blade become cleaner and brighter without causing excessive wear. I'll soak the razor head in the baking soda solution for a few minutes, making sure the cutting area is fully in contact with the mixture. During this time, the baking soda will slowly react with any remaining rust, softening it and making it easier to remove before I move on to the final cleaning step. After soaking, I take the razor out and use a clean, dry cloth to thoroughly wipe the entire blade area, absorbing any remaining moisture and removing loosened rust residue, leaving the blades dry and ready for the next step. After completing the entire cleaning process, the razor blades look clearly revived. The dull rust stains and long built-up residue have been almost completely removed, revealing a brighter, more even metal surface. The blade edges are now clearly defined, no longer feeling rough or slippery to the touch, and the gaps between the blades are clean and open. Overall, even though it's still a disposable razor, the blade condition is now neat, clean, and good enough to move on to the sharpening step, rather than being treated as trash like it was at the start. Instead of using specialized tools, I'll repurpose a leather from an old belt to sharpen and strop the blade. When fixed flat, the leather surface works like a strop, helping realign the cutting edge and remove tiny metal burrs left from the cleaning process. By gently drawing the blade in the correct direction across the leather, the edge gradually becomes smoother and sharper without excessive wear. When sharpening a razor blade, it's crucial to pay close attention to both pressure and stroke direction. Always pull the blade against the cutting edge, never push in the sharp direction, to avoid chipping the edge. Use very light, even pressure, and repeat the motion multiple times instead of pressing hard in a single pass, since razor blades are extremely thin and easy to bend. Now I'll begin sharpening each of these razors one by one, using the same technique, the same hand pressure, and the same number of strokes to ensure that every blade is treated evenly and the results can be compared fairly once the process is complete. Just about 10 to 20 gentle strokes on the leather surface are enough to make the blade edge sharp and smooth. There's no need to repeat excessively, as the even, precise pulling action realigns the tiny metal burrs, providing optimal results while preserving the blade's shape and durability. Using leather to sharpen a blade isn't just a simple way to repurpose materials. It's also highly effective. The leather surface is soft yet firm enough to realign tiny metal burrs along the edge, smoothing out small imperfections without excessive wear. Compared to whetstones or hard tools, leather provides a gentle, even pull that's safer, reducing the risk of chipping or bending the blade. This is why many experienced barbers and knife makers still use a leather strop as a final step to ensure the blade is both sharp and smooth. After sharpening, I check each blade once more, wiping away any leather residue and metal dust, then closely examining the cutting edge to assess its consistency and sharpness. At this point, the blades look much neater, with a more clearly defined edge compared to before sharpening, and are ready for performance test. To test the sharpness, I lightly shave a small patch of hair on my finger, without applying pressure, just letting the blade make natural contact with the skin. As it glides over, the hair is cut cleanly and falls away easily, without the pulling or tugging from before, showing that the edge is noticeably sharper and more even. The smooth shaving feel and reduced friction are clear signs that the cleaning and resharpening process has worked. When the blade is sharp enough, the difference in use is immediately noticeable. The cut is clean, smooth, and decisive, with no pulling, tugging, or skin irritation. With only very light pressure, the blade does exactly what it's supposed to do, offering a greater sense of control, precision, and safety. Most importantly, a sharp blade proves that with a bit of patience and the right technique, things that seem to have lost all value can still be made effective and reliable again. And this is just one of many methods that can be used to clean and resharpen razor blades. There are still plenty of other simple yet equally effective approaches, and I'll continue to test, compare, and share them in detail in the next parts. If you have any good ideas or other interesting ways to repurpose items, leave a comment below. I'd love to see them and try them out with you. At the end of the experiment, the disposable razors that seemed destined for the trash have now been revived through cleaning and resharpening. They are sharper, tidier, and ready to be used again, proving that with a bit of creativity and patience, small items that seem useless can still be put to good use. Remember, don't rush to throw away things that appear old. Sometimes, with just a little care, you can turn what was once trash into a useful tool in everyday life.